Good morning, Forest Riders. Just thought I'd give you guys a quick update on the 360 and run through some events that have happened since I've been out at Imbil. I've now moved out to Imbil full time, and I actually get to ride during the week these days, which is not too bad considering the place is getting more and more activity with dirt bikes. And as you can see, I'm above Barumba Dam. It's actually quite nice out here today. A little cold, but nice. Not overly cold, but yeah, it's all right. Anyhow, we've had just a little bit of rain. It's actually quite grippy, and I'm also running these Moto's tires on here, front to back. But I'll get to that a little bit later. I'll explain what happened to the standard motor that I've had when I first got the bike. And basically what happened is I was just going through some single lines through the pine forest and went down a gully, and thank Christ I made it back up. But it actually blew the motor right at the top, and I just lost all compression in it, and I think I've obviously blown the crank seals and things like that, because I took the head off it and had a look inside, and there was no metal or anything like that, but yeah, no compression, and the motor just stopped. So it was lucky that I had a spare motor, a second-hand one that I got in Brisbane for $850. I was a little bit wary when I went to go see it, because, well, you know, the age of these bikes. And this is a 2000 model, and this is a 2000 engine replacement, but I did put a brand new piston in it. And I also had to swap the magneto over from the last one, which was really good. For some reason it didn't fire over in this one with the original magneto. But anyways, easy to install, and this one seems to be a little bit tighter as well. There's a shitload more compression, so the other one was obviously, you know, tired. So I sort of knew that from the price when I first got the bike, but I'm glad I found a spare one, and I paid $850 for it. I couldn't be happier. It's nice and tight, goes well, no issues. Still fouling plugs. It doesn't foul them straight away. I don't know why. I thought I had fixed that, even with the Lectron. I tried a few mods. I leaned it down half a turn, and recently I got in contact with Ballistic Racing, who sold me the Lectron carburetor, and he informed me yesterday to richen it by half a turn from standard. So it's only when I'm in really technical terrain that it does that. So it's nothing to do with the electrics or the magneto or anything like that. What's happening is there's, in the combustion, it's leaving the oil behind, fouling the plug, so it's not really having enough fuel with the oil, and it's depositing on the plug. And in really tight technical terrain, eventually, I would say, you know, I get about a month out of a plug, and then it just shits itself. Even with iridium plugs, I've got a standard BR8ES plug in there at the moment, and I've been doing some technical stuff before I even got here, so I haven't had it foul or anything just yet, but I'm hoping that Ballistic Racing are on the money there, because it really needs to be sorted. If this doesn't work, I will probably send this into TSP, or yeah, TSP down in Melbourne, and get them to do the head on it, and hopefully that'll fix it. Obviously make it easier to start. I've had to start it with the choke this morning, because it is a little cold, but having said that, I remember when I first got the carburetor, I didn't have to start it with any choke. It just started, so it was brilliant. For plastics, I usually get my plastics and things on eBay. Generally they come from Europe, so these are the 2004 to 2005 plastics. This kit right here, 2001 to, I think it's 2002 is the headlight, which I got from Polysport, obviously. I mean, they all bolt on, there's no problem there. There's just a few little issues when you go to get the graphics kits and whatnot sometimes, but that's about it. So the plastics and whatnot, you can generally find some in Australia if you're lucky, but usually they're just individual pieces like that or front mudguard. But having said that, I've got a full 2000 seat plastics kit, graphics. I put them all on. Now the shock, I realized there was an issue with this, and when I got it back from being rebuilt, I didn't set the ride height. When I picked it up, I was just basically riding it, and I overlooked it, and I thought that it obviously got set up correctly when I got it back from the suspension tuner, but obviously not the case, and that was my mistake. They did a great job with the forks and the shock. This thing is obviously much better than standard. Having said that, it's still it's a very stable bike, but it just doesn't turn as good or as easy as the newer generations. I've had a 2002 model of this, and the difference in the swing arm, and I think there was a few other tweaks and whatnot, it was a little better. But anyhow, I have seen on YouTube someone fitting a Magura clutch to this, and this is the Magura clutch that I've installed, and it was for the 250 and 300, but it didn't fit. I tried it, and it basically, the actuator arm on the 360, this actuator arm that's down there, the hydraulic arm there, it actually hits and rubs on the 300 in the intake manifold there. It rubs on it, and I didn't like it because obviously it'd wear away over time, and yeah, just not a very good fit on mine. I stuffed around a bit, but it didn't work. Anyhow, getting back to the hydraulic situation with the clutch on this 360. Now you can see the plate that I've made, and it's out of aluminium. Okay, now the first design I did didn't allow for the breather hose, so I had to cut it up with a hacksaw. So it's bolted in there along the side and obviously along the top. And yesterday I took out the original fluid and put the Magura blood in there and gave it some fresh fluid in there, and yeah, riding this thing with a hydraulic clutch is very nice. It's very nice. Definitely not going back to cable there. But anyhow, I brought the spare one along. Now I did change this a little bit as opposed to that one where I would run the breather hose on the other side, and as you can see there, and I've used a couple of spacers in there to sort of take up the slack. And now with the clutch, I've also got the adjustment right out on here, so I get like a full actuation. I mean, I got long fingers and stuff anyway, so it works for me. I need to get new rubbers for here. Now these clamps that I got here, these are Zeta ones, but these ones that I got here, I got from the States. They're made by Fast by Faraci, and they're a billet clamp, but because I am tall, I needed to raise them up. But the rubbers and whatnot, they actually twist in there. When you fall off this bike, if you do drop it, it likes to twist, and you've got to undo everything and set it back straight, because the one thing that annoys me the most is when I'm riding it, is when something is just out a little bit, and you can see it is slightly out, and that bothers the shit out of me when I ride it. I try not to take any notice of it or anything like that, but I know it's there, and oh man, it shits me to tears. It's just psychological for me, but other people probably it wouldn't be as so bad, and maybe they wouldn't even notice it. But anyhow, now I'm liking these. These are very good. These are obviously heavy duty tubes in here. Now you've probably noticed that the that's in the wrong direction. Well, I got these fitted for me, and I come back. He just didn't realize that it was the Husky with the chain drive on the opposite side. Anyways, that hasn't made any difference. I mean, you'll have a look at the pattern. But this is a 110. I probably should have went a 120 on the back there. It is a little bit skatey, but man, has it got some grip. Awesome, actually. And the front, which is great. 8121 on there, and the Enduro IT. So this helps a lot. Great tires, I'm impressed. So I put them on the 300 with the tubeless system, and a beautiful area, the Mary Valley. Yeah, just respect it and look after it. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I can say. Enough said. Anyways, till next time, look after yourselves. Be happy, be healthy, be safe, and I'll talk to you again later. Thank you. Thanks for listening. Bye.